Oh, chest hair scratch. Go. Hey, welcome to Time+Tide. This is where we live. We're in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm sitting at the desk giving you the best watches of the year, our thoughts, our selections after hours and hours of drinking and arguing. These are our picks. This is the list of watches that I would buy if money were no object based on releases from 2021. There is one consistent theme here. Complete budget-free zone. This is just what the heart wants, the heart shall have. If you want to join in, please tell us in the comments below which watch you would buy in 2021 if you just could buy anything. Global Forsey, Langer & Cerner, Hublot, AP, anything you want. List it below and also tell us what you're wearing, and then we can give you our magazine. We're going to choose 2 people in the comments section below who have done both of those things, and we're going to send them a magazine. Because all the picks that I've just selected for this list have come from the magazine. So it's really handy in that way. If you also want to go fantasy watch shopping, you can do it too. Let's get started. Number 1 is the Moser Streamliner Perpetual Calendar. Now this watch took the Streamliner shape, that beautiful serpentine bracelet, that pebble case, that 40mm size, that slim case profile, and infused it with even more sexiness, because the movement has been blackened. So when you turn it over and look through the case back and see this beautiful movement, this perpetual calendar movement, you will see that the bridges are blackened, which makes it even sexier. You will see that the fumé gray with red highlights on the dial just lifts this whole proposition to another level. For $54,000 US, this is an extraordinary opportunity, except it's already gone. Sorry about that. Watch is gone. I asked for one myself. I was gonna sell everything I own to get one, and they said, don't bother, keep everything you own and be quicker next time. So it's been a huge hit for Moser. Congratulations guys, Eddie, Bernard. I'm gonna call you your real names this time. Eddie and Bernard, Eddie and Bertrand. Great guys, we've been following the Moser journey for many years. I own a Pioneer center seconds. It's gonna take a few more Pioneers before I'm in the Streamliner category. The Green Dragon's also gone, so hey, this is just theoretical conversation, but there's no budget, it doesn't really matter. So that's number 1. Okay, probably the funnest watch of the year to look at is this Bulgari Gerald Genta Mickey Mouse for €16,500. Another watch that completely flew. As soon as Zach saw this in Geneva, I think at the time he was viewing it, it had been sold to collectors. So, you know, again, we have this classic complication, the Mickey Mouse hand pointing to the minute with an hour indication in a portal. It's a really novel way to tell the time. It's a characterful watch that you just can't help but smile looking at, and it's all gone as well. So sorry, this is the list of dreams, and dreams can evaporate just like that. Next up is the Hublot Big Bang Unico Summer in aluminium. Now I felt some feelings for the Millennial Pink, but by the time those feelings were being felt, the watch was sold out. I was in Dubai last week and received a desperate message from a viewer/reader saying, please get me one anywhere. I couldn't do it, it's gone. The brand are completely out of stock of the other aluminium variation. So this one in like a sky blue, it's called Summer. It is actually a very summery looking watch, is still available for however long. Look, what is the offer of this watch? What is the appeal? Try it on. It's like air. It's like the Bulgari aluminium. It's a watch that wins you over on the wrist. It is 42mm, so it isn't gonna monster the wrist in terms of diameter and lug to lug. It is priced at 29,000 something, and it is obviously a very saleable proposition. The Millennial Pink is gone. This one will go too soon. I like it a lot, and I think when you've tried this, it's again the Velcro strap. Everything about it is quite modern and wearer friendly, so try it before you judge it. Hublot doing cool things again. Look, it might be a surprise to you, but I have never had a Patek Philippe Calatrava in a list before, and that's because, you know, they do classic things as well as Patek Philippe could possibly do, but they don't set me on fire. There's not enough detail, there's not enough modernity. Forget about that. With the 6119G001, we have a coined bezel, we have a vertically grained dial, we have such a masterclass in classic finishing techniques and touches. It just, to me, almost presents itself as the perfect classic wristwatch. And at 40 odd thousand Australian dollars, it's not completely out of the realms of possibility. This one excited me. I also saw the Fratello guys, the monochrome guys holding it, having the same reaction. There's something quite electric about this classic combination. Another one to probably go and see before you judge. Now, you might know that Zachary Blass, the deputy editor of Time+Tide, has an enormous presence around the place, and that's because he writes columns like Don't Feed the Hype, which is his attempt to broaden people's competitive sets when it comes to the most popular models out there. So instead of getting on your socials and whinging about the lack of Daytonas or the lack of Nautilus or the lack of insert brand name here, Zach is coming up with alternatives that are likely to surprise and delight in ways that you do not expect, including this Irvin Jurgensen 1, which Zach presented as a Nautilus alternative. It does have that sort of late 60s softened rounded edge connotation. It has that faux integrated steel bracelet with the rounded center links. There's a lot here that's going to give you the same kind of feels as the Patek Philippe Nautilus at a price that is more competitive, plain and simple, $27,900 US. A really beautifully finished piece is another one to try on the wrist before you make a judgment. We had an absolutely ecstatic response to this suggestion that this could be a contender for people wanting that same combination as the Nautilus, but it's up to you what you think, but a really strong contender at that price point. Now, the Audemars Piguet Offshore was never sent for its nuance. It was never sent to come here to massage us with lots of beautiful ergonomic and detail, but that's exactly what the 43mm AP Offshores have achieved. These are refined versions of a very brutish collection. That brutishness was part of its original charm, where the Royal Oak collection, the classic Royal Oak collection, was slim and refined and this perfect sort of midpoint between sports and dress. The Offshore was all about pushing the needle back the other way. Now, at 43mm with redesigned lugs, with redesigned chronograph pushers, with a redesigned size and sort of ergonomic presence, this is very much a refined Royal Oak Offshore that will wear a lot more reasonably on your wrist than previous versions, which is why we like it so much. Also, it brings with it the chronograph movement from the Code 1159, meaning that we have, for me, that all-important 369 chronograph configuration. On the dial, we have a mega tapisserie pattern, which means the squares are larger, and we also have this really attractive slight fumé coloring to the dial, meaning that the color isn't just a uniform color. It goes from light in the center to dark at the outer. There's a range of shades. My favorite is probably that tobacco-y, browny, gray type of palette. Really interesting watch to wear on the wrist for the way that that color presents. It doesn't present itself as one color because of that fumé gradient. Overall, $58,000 worth of watch that will make a very distinct impression. Vacheron Constantin's overseas dual time has had a massive spike in aftermarket value in 2021. We've seen a watch that was stable for so long and a great value proposition really begin to keep step with, for example, Audemars Piguet's dual time models. And that's because they're awesome. And the Everest Edition is perhaps the most robust and genuinely daily wearer potential for the overseas dual time ever made. It's amazing. It has interchangeable straps. It has a titanium build that is going to be super light and super wear resistant on the wrist. We have different finishings on the dial just to show that this is a Vacheron. So we have, again, that Geneva seal level of watchmaker craftsmanship. It is just awesome. Like when the watch was launched this year, in the video, I found myself dumbstruck several times in the presence of this watch. Super modern touches like a bright burnt orange handset and orange highlights. The rotor has the relief of the mountain range that the original overseas dual time Corey Richards was released to celebrate. So we have enormous amount of story as well as just incredible day-to-day robust wearability in this watch. If you were lucky enough to get one, then you should wear it every day, because if this thing's left in a safe, then that is a travesty. So I'm talking to you, overseas dual time wearers. get them out there. That's what they're intended to do. I didn't get one. I'm jealous. So if you're safe queening it, I'm upset with you. That ends part one. Part two's coming up. Don't go anywhere.